Hello everybody, I'm here with Mr. Mrityunjay Singh, COO of LTTS, and I've sat down for a little podcast with him. So good evening, sir.
Good
Welcome
evening,
to
Anand.
XLRI.
Thank you very
And
much.
how was the journey, sir?
Excellent.
And on behalf of the GMP batch of 26-27, I extend a hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
And so let's begin with the podcast.
Sure.
So let me start with a bit of your human journey. What first drew you towards engineering and technology? Why engineering and technology?
Sorry, what is that?
What first caught your attention about engineering and technology?
I could take things apart and put it back again.
Ah.
I loved doing that as a child.
Wonderful.
And
sir.
that I still carry that.
Wonderful. So when you were early in your career, did you already envision yourself moving into these leadership roles?
Well, I don't know. I mean, at that time, I was just too focused on trying to see how I can become better, how much can I learn. I mean, leadership happened by accident, not by design.
Sure. And was there a defining moment or a turning point in your life that fundamentally changed how you approached leadership?
Yeah, there was. I think there was once I was doing something extremely audacious and I failed and failed miserably. And I went back to my manager and I told him that, look, this has been a massive failure. And my leader told me that it's okay. And 3 months later, he gave me even bigger thing than what I failed at. And for the first time, I realized that I could learn from the failure. And that the difference between failure and success was the mental makeup. Once I decided that I will be successful in this, it didn't matter how much scarce resources I had, didn't matter how much shortage of time I had, didn't matter whether my team was capable or not, we became successful. That was my biggest learning, that it's all here. It's not in anything else.
That was very insightful, sir. And moving on to the next question, what were some failures or difficult periods, like you mentioned? Are there any other such examples that ended up teaching you a lot of things about leadership?
Oh, every time you fail, you learn a lot. I mean, I have built teams which have been written off, took them with me, built it. Actually, my first thing was, I'll tell you my first learning. I was trying to let go of someone, was put in performance improvement plan as it is called. And I went to my CEO of my company and said, look, I need to let her go because she's not doing well. And he said something that has stayed with me even today. He said, look, an average general can win a war with a great army. It takes a great general to win a war with an average army. You choose what kind of general you want to become. And I was 3 years out of college. And first I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. Then he said, your leadership test is, can you groom her so that she can take up your job? And I took this as a challenge. And a year later, after I left the project, she became the project leader. And I realized that, the leadership journey is not just your own. How many people can you help along makes a huge impact to yourself as well. I mean, I learned a lot in the process of mentoring that person who was at the bottom and went on and took up my job a year later.
Amazing, sir. Those were very nice insights. And moving on, do you think ambition changes with age? Earlier it might be about achievement, but later does it become more about the impact that you create?
I mean, it's about people. I don't think it is a thing about age. It's about what you're chasing, right? Someone told me this long ago. You chase gold, glory, or self-actualization. Very few people chase because they have arrived in the life. Most people are chasing either gold or glory. So glory is essentially, can you make a name for yourself? Gold is, can I make a windfall from profit on whatever I'm doing? So it's a question of, I mean, age has an impact, your circumstances has an impact, your background has an impact, what you have grown up around has an impact. Sometimes we get course correction because of life experiences. So it's never fixed. It depends on how individual go through life experiences, and that changes them.
Amazing, sir. So moving on from the human journey, we'll go into a bit deep about what a COO really does.
Yeah.
So what does a typical day as a COO at LTTS actually look like?
Interesting. I was telling this to somebody last week. He asked me this something similar, and he said my biggest thing is to switch context very quickly from doing a 3-year horizon discussion to worrying about my cost structure of tomorrow, to worrying about something that's going to impact my quarter, to the year. So how do you quickly switch between these multiple things in a day? I would be doing very long-term, very short-term, very medium-term discussion, and all of them you have to get into details and snap out of it and then go take another call. The operations is basically about juggling balls, multiple of them, and being very decisive. So be very clear. You gather your input, take a decision, and iterate and learn.
Sure, sir. So agility being the buzzword here.
Yes.
So what are the core operational metrics or signals that you constantly like to keep an eye on? Are there any?
Yeah, there are. I look at my demand, I look at my cost structure, I look at my supply chain, I look at the tech intervention which is happening in the market. There's a huge shift which is happening in the market. I have to constantly look at how that shift is going to impact the kind of work we do. Because at the end of the day, all of them has an impact on either revenue or the cost side. Then my job is to look at the P&L and see how can I make the P&L not just sustainable for this quarter, but also for the year and the next few years. So anything that's going to impact my people, I have to constantly take a dipstick saying, okay, are we doing the right thing for the people? I looked at the data, I'll tell you, I looked at all the guys with 4-year experience, fresher. I looked at their performance to see what are they doing. I want to see how can they be promoted because they are young guys doing very well. They should be doing a higher level job. So everything about, which is going to impact the company, I have to worry about it.
Great, sir. So at the scale LTTS operates, how do you prevent complexity from slowing the organization down?
A good question. We tend to design complexity. And the reason is most people, as you become big, they tend to get deeper into the functions. And I think startups are a very good model. And I call it like a network management, the network style of management. They do a very good job because everybody's talking to everybody else because you need to move things quickly. The large organization are hierarchical style of management. They need to flow down and functions need to do a certain job. The trick is to balance these two. Neither one is a good model. There is a time and a place for both of them. If you need to move quickly, you need to have a network management, network style of management. If you need to move at scale, you need a hierarchical style of management. For now, I have to blend both because I'm going through a tech disruption. So I need to have a bunch of team which is going to disrupt what we are going through. And I need to also have a team which will figure out the disruption and then move very quickly. So it's the balance between both the style that we need to do at any point in time.
Building on this question, do companies become less innovative as they become more operationally mature?
Not necessarily, but there is a significant research done on this topic from various leading institutes, which talk about why do the companies do not disrupt once they become mature. I think it finally boils down to your P&L. How much of your dollars you are allocating for future versus you're allocating for today, and how do you balance these two? If I have to allocate, for example, 3 years from now disruption, and I'm not going to go clean up my balance sheet to get that money, then you'll not be able to disrupt it. There's no wishful thinking that, yes, I want to do the disruption, but I'm not going to allocate the money. You can't. You will not get the benefit. So you need to have that. I mean, that lens is very critical. And the reason most companies struggle is that they are not able to allocate the dollars to the right areas, the priorities that they need to.
Sure, sir. So, in my own experience at LTTS, I was working in a transport refrigeration project with a client called Carrier. So, even one project involved coordination across teams, timelines, customer expectations, and engineering precision. So, how do you scale that rigor across hundreds of engagements globally?
Well, you have to be systemic about it, right? So you have to build systems and processes. Like, for example, I look at the product quality data. So you are in a mechanical field, right? So we look at data metric called FTR, right? I look at FTR that I'm delivering as a company.
Yes.
Then FTR I'm delivering as a particular sector, and then I'm delivering FTR in a particular sub-segment within that. If my FTR drops below 95%, then I know that there is a product quality issue that I'll have to deal with. I can't have my first, there are a lot of people telling me my internal FTR is 83 and my external FTR is 95. It's okay. It's not okay, because then you're spending too much time in reviews, right? So there is a product quality which is extremely important. So I look at how do I aggregate these metrics from a product quality perspective and see if the product quality that I'm delivering to customers is in line with it or not. And sometimes, the quality is not just a definition of what the client is expecting. It's also what's happening in the market, what should happen based on the guideline and principles. So it's much broader. You can't just say to the client that, look, you told me, so I build it. Tough luck. It doesn't work in our business. You need to really design it for the right purpose so that it can serve the right thing.
Moving on, let's move on to the LTTS story and the industry in itself, the engineering services industry. So for someone outside the engineering world, how would you explain what LTTS really does?
So we are core engineering company, as you know. I mean, you work there, so you understand. We have come from mechanical engineering background. From mechanical, we have gone into embedded, electronics, hardware, and now into technology, doing a lot of software type work. So now the next phase of LTTS is about, we call it engineering intelligence, which is, adoption of artificial intelligence into the world of engineering. And I truly believe that EI is going to be the new paradigm for the way the work gets done. So the impact on the engineering that is happening today is going to be significant by infusion of this EI technology. And the other way to look at it is, you look at IT systems are typically 3 to 5% of the revenue. OT systems are anything between 15 to 20% of the revenue. So the scope that you have to create an impact leveraging this AI tech is a much broader, in terms of the total spend and the wallet share that is out there. So I truly believe that there is an opportunity for us to grow much bigger because there is so many things to do. You look at physical AI, you look at, which is about embedding AI in the products. If you look at the process optimization, all of that is like a huge thing. So we are sitting on a gold mine of growth that is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years.
Great, sir. So how has the engineering services industry, in your view, evolved over the last 10 to 15 years?
A lot. I think it started, and you used to work there, it started with a lot of physical engineering to now a lot of simulation. And now it is going to go into a lot of parallel creation before you do physically things, right? I can create an entire, let's say, data center setup process in a digital twin. Even before a chip is actually shipped, I can orchestrate the entire setup of data center and then have it running day one without doing any trial. I can set up a brownfield or a greenfield plant by simulating everything in a software. And then when I go to the site, I can just build it up. That saves a lot of cost because once you go and start doing things in a physical world without having the simulation right, then you have the cost goes up, right? So I mean, now the opportunity to do all this because of software is much better, and that is the big impact that's going to happen to engineering services.
Amazing, sir. So what makes LTTS different from other global ER&D players?
See, we are India's number one right now. We are the top 3 in the world, pure play ER&D player. We think, and we are confident because of the kind of things we are doing, that leveraging AI, we will be the best EI company in the world. We want to be the number one, and we are very sure that we will be there.
Amazing, sir. So which industries are seeing the most transformation right now?
Engineering, massive.
And moving on from that, do you think engineering service firms are gradually becoming strategic innovation partners rather than just execution partners?
If they are able to build the capability around software and engineering intelligence, then they will be driving the innovation. If they do not, then they will struggle.
Yes.
because
So-
the market has moved. You don't have a choice.
So digging deeper into my experience there, so I've worked in the building technology and industrial product space.
Mhm.
I saw how niche domains like transport, refrigeration,
Correct.
they still demand incredibly deep engineering expertise.
Yep.
So how important are these specialized verticals to LTTS long-term strategy?
Oh, very important. You look at what drives the engineering intelligence, right? Or AI as it is called. If you need to build models which can either help me take decisions, right? Finally, all these systems are about building probabilistic system which will help me take decisions. Then you need to have the data right for these models to predict. You need to understand the use cases, that what those data needs to decide, right? The decisions, you need to understand what the context is. Like you said, transportation refrigeration, for example, is a very data center refrigeration is very, very unique. It's not same as a transportation refrigeration, right? Which is very, very unique. So how do you bring that context for the model to take a call on a particular use case that you want to build? That I think is a trick. So the model we expect is there is going to be a domain expert, there's going to be forward deployed engineers, which is called FDE in a simplified term, and this between the two, along with the users, will be the build out of this new, for lack of better word, people are calling it agentic. But agents are nothing but small tasks which need system to take a decision, and that you need a heavy domain knowledge. So we do need to go deeper and not shallower while building this.
Amazing, sir. So moving on to the next section. So it's AI, digital engineering, and the future. Everyone's talking about AI nowadays. But how is LTTS actually implementing AI in the real engineering environments?
Good question. My favorite joke is India has 1.4 billion AI experts. Okay. After that, I'll tell you. For example, what we do, we build. We are not doing schoolboy projects. We do large-scale projects. So I'll give you an example. There's somebody wanted to build a product. That product is essentially about home improvement. They have tools around. If you want to like take a wood and kind of nail it, automate it through a device or a machine, you can nail it. Now they want to launch newer new products because home design is getting faster, right? They need better tools to do it. Now when you launch a product, it usually would take like 18 months to 2 years to launch a product. We are looking at how do I compress the product. Now what is the trick in this product? You need to be able to test them because you visualize the product, you do the design, then you build it out, the electronics and the software, you put the hardware together. Now you have to test it to make sure it works. It does what it's supposed to do. Now the testing process, the way we shortened is, we took the requirement document and we had 400 test cases, like a Word document, right? Somebody created it. We took that. My initial estimate, my team said it will take us 6 months to build it. We used a new tech. Using new tech in 6 weeks. We have, from the document, I've created a Python code which will do the MATLAB simulation for the testing end to end. Now, that is one part. Now, I have to also make sure that this software is tested with a physical device, right? Which will take another 3 to 4 weeks for it to make it work. But the point is, rather than 6 months, I'm able to do it in 2 to 3 months, right? And that compression is important. So the way I look at it is that AI is about faster time to value. It is not about, and I just wrote a post yesterday, that you need to shrink the cycle. The more and more the cycle shrink, then more and more we will produce. I was giving an example, right? When Ford figured out faster car production exploded. It did not come down, right? Because Ford could produce faster. So I believe it's the same thing. If I can do faster product creation, there'll be more and more products which will get created.
Great, sir. Those are great insights, sir. And moving on, do you believe AI will fundamentally change the role of engineers over the next 10 years?
AI will not change the role of engineers. The engineers will have to leverage this intelligence that is available to you to become smarter. See, what happens in AI is that now intelligence is out there. Now I can take my organizational knowledge and create an organizational intelligence and make it available to every engineer. Today what happens is you have your own intelligence and maybe you are learning from your team. So you have your team's intelligence with you. You don't have the access. I mean, we have knowledge management systems, but they do not necessarily give you the right input, right, in the task when you're doing the task. So I do believe that every engineer will become as smart as the whole company. So that's a great power, right? Because you are going to draw on that. So then you need to be more creative, you need to be more problem solving, you need to connect a lot more data and see the patterns and solve a bigger problems that we have not been able to do.
Sure, sir. And moving on, just as a bridge to this question, will future engineers need to think differently than previous generations?
Oh, absolutely. We've all been. I mean, I think that is nothing new. I mean, the way we thought 20 years ago is different from the way we think today. Every engineers will have to.
And as automation grows, what becomes more valuable? Technical skill, creativity, or judgment?
I think creativity.
And a personal question here. In domains like refrigeration and industrial systems, reliability and precision are critical. Are you seeing AI and digital engineering meaningfully improving efficiency and predictive capabilities in these kinds of environments?
See, currently these systems can get you 75 to 85% accuracy, right? Above that, it is very, very costly to do it. Below that, it is not worth it. So as of now, if we can get to that ballpark and then we put human in the loop or human on the loop to take the last mile decision, I think the systems will work.
And moving on to the next section, people, culture, and leadership at scale. So, what does a high-performing culture look like to you in your eyes?
Well, high-performing work culture is when you are able to reward, right? When you grow along with the company. I mean, one of the benchmark that I have is your teams growing faster than your company's growth? Are individuals growing faster than the company's growth? So if the company is growing at 30%, your people should be growing in their career by 50%. Then you are actually building a high performance. I mean, otherwise, all other metrics, if you look at, right, they are very theoretical in my sense. I mean, I wouldn't be excited. I mean, I worked in a company where we grew way faster. We were doing $1 billion contract 20 years ago. Today, I don't think kids out of college, 12 years experience would negotiate $1 billion contract. We were doing that 20 years ago.
And how do you maintain alignment across geographies, domains, and thousands of employees?
Culture. That's the glue. To build the right culture.
And what's one leadership trait that becomes more important as you scale up organizations?
Hands-on. You need to be hands-on. I've said this many times. I do not like presentations. I don't like PPTs. If you have to talk to me, show me the code, show me the tool, open up the Excel sheet, open up the design. Let's talk about it. Be hands-on. You can't be a leader if you are, at this level and just talking strategy and presentations and I'll do this. You need to know what's going on. Very important.
Sure. And do you think younger professionals today prioritize work differently than what was earlier?
No, I don't think so. I've heard this many times and people keep telling me that Gen Z and Gen Y and all that. I think we need to give them enough reason for people to be excited about. I don't think it's about, this Gen Z doesn't want to work. I think it's the wrong way to look at it. Are we doing enough to give you the vision of what we're trying to do? The other thing I see is the Gen Zs want the returns. They want to be equal party to this. And that's the right way to design it, right? I mean, my generation was different. We didn't have many choices. So we are like, okay, it's great to have a job. But today generation has multiple choices. So they say, hey, I'm willing to slog for you. I'm willing to take the extra mile. Show me, what do I get? Do I grow faster? Do I have better returns tomorrow? I'm in. They will work more than 24 hours if they need to. I mean, that's an oxymoron to say, but the point is, right, that if they're excited, people will do it. And I see that all the time. The kids who are excited. You look at last 2 years, I've worked in AI tech, with the youngsters. All the complex tech was done by these youngsters. They would sit and solve it. And I was very impressed with them.
Great, sir. Those are very great insights. And one thing I appreciated during my time at LTTS was the cross-functional collaboration required even within a single engagement. So how do you create systems that encourage that naturally than forcibly do it?
Well, it's a culture. I think you need to make open, right? I mean, you work there, so right? There is no boundary. I mean, I've not heard anyone saying, oh, well, this is my department, my functions, I will not tell you because I own this. People are very open. I mean, we'll talk, you pick up the phone, you call anybody, right? I mean, all of us are extremely open about various things that we keep doing. Even if it is not working, we'll talk about it. So I think the culture is very important. You need to have the culture.
Yes, and one more question on that topic. What qualities do you consistently see in people who grow successfully within the company?
Usually, if I put all the traits together, people who are not afraid to fail. I mean, I've seen this consistently. People are willing to take the risk. People are willing to take the accountability of failure. It's not that they will take the risk and say, I took the risk, I failed, now don't penalize me. They're willing to take the penalty. It's okay, I'll take the accountability of it. Those are the people who do well. And the other thing is the people who are solving the problem of tomorrow, not today. They know what the company is going to face tomorrow and they'll solve that problem. Those are the future leaders.
Great, sir. So, a peek into the future in this section. Where do you see LTTS in the next decade?
I said upfront, I think we will be the number one EI engineering company in the world. That's what we aspire to.
Great, sir. So, what technologies or industries do you believe will define the next wave of growth?
I think the evolution of this new tech is still not done. Right? We still have a lot that is going to happen on this new technology. I believe medical field will explode. There will be a lot of infusion of new tech into that. I believe mobility will undergo through massive change. I think sustainability will go through a massive shift. All this, setting up the factories, etc., will go through a massive shift. I think we will be able to, the tech consumption itself will undergo a massive change. The new product launches will be pervasive. So there is, all of these areas I think will become dramatic in like next 3 to 5 years.
Amazing, sir. So do you think sustainability will become a stronger engineering driver than cost optimization?
It's not either or. Sustainability is a critical thing, right? Today, if you look at overall temperature is rising. There is a water shortage that we are talking about in the country. So it's extremely important, right? It's not a either or. You can't say this is okay, but this is not okay. I think you need to find the balance. And leadership is about finding the balance. It's not about doing one is easy. Finding the balance is what makes you a better leader.
Yes. So what worries you the most about the future of the industry?
Nothing worries me. I don't believe in like crystal ball. I believe in agility. So I am designing the company to react quickly, to move faster. I'm perfectly comfortable with whatever emerges because I would not take a bet on what's going to happen. I would take a bet on how fast can we move because that's what will decide whether we will be a winner or we'll be also an.
Being proactive rather than reactive would be...
Not just being proactive, design systems which can react quickly, right? Like my supply chain is now, earlier it used to take like 18 months for me to orchestrate entire supply chain. Now we have made it like 3 months, 6 months, right? So that's, you have to change the processes and the system to make it agile.
Sure, sir. And what excites you the most?
Oh, the future. Easily. What's coming, I'm very excited about it.
And what do you think engineering organizations need to unlearn to stay relevant in the future?
Good question. The first thing I tell everyone, have a healthy disrespect for all expertise, including your own. Don't assume that you know everything or somebody around you knows everything. Go back and learn because things are changing. Figure out how to leverage that so that we can become better.
Amazing, sir. So there's one final section, which is a rapid fire, just a light-hearted section. So one leadership principle you strongly believe in.
Hands-on.
A piece of advice that stayed with you throughout your career.
Be there for other people.
What's something people would be surprised to know about you?
I did a little bit of research on historical topics out of interest.
One habit that helps you stay productive.
Looking at data.
Books, podcasts, or people that influence your thinking.
Books. I read a lot of books.
Your favorites, sir?
I'm just reading a book called Built, the guy who built a lot of products through Apple and other, gadgets. So I keep reading a lot of different books. I am a voracious reader. Any point in time, I'm reading like 3-4 books.
How do you disconnect from work and recharge?
I have a trick. Friday evening, no calls.
Okay.
So that, in my mind, signals there is a weekend. I can work on Saturday, I can do everything else. But Friday evening, I don't call my people. I don't want anybody to call me. I'm off.
Now, with this, we know how a day in your life looks like. So how does a Sunday in your life look like?
Sunday is usually relaxed. Saturday, I meet a lot of people because, that day I do a lot of networking. I do a lot of mentoring with people. Sundays, I'm usually at home. My kids are younger. I would spend time with them. Now I would, get together with friends. We'll maybe play some cards, meet people, socializing.
Great, sir. So with this, we come to the end of the podcast. So from the whole batch of XLRI Jamshedpur GM 2627, thank you a lot, sir, and have a nice day and a year forward.
Thank you, Anant. It was a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.